Hello and welcome to In Conversations at the Crossroads. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and good day from wherever you're logging in. Thank you very much for joining us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube Live. So, this is our eighth episode. We've completed seven episodes discussing various crossroads, various mindset, and various leaders sharing their journey of life, their vulnerability during their crossroads of life and their learning. Let me share something. There is no shortcut in life. There will always be lucrative opportunities. It is our responsibility to evaluate them against the correct parameters, which also includes our values. Often we go wrong in parameters we use to evaluate an opportunity, and that is where we feel sorry later of either taking that opportunity or missing that opportunity. Sometimes to go forward, you must take a few steps back, like a leopard who takes few steps back so that he can leap forward. And that is the most important thing in life. Hello, everyone. So today we have our guest, Kumar Achanta. He has worked for 15 years across various industries such as retail segments, FMCG, education, time, and IT and other BPO services. Kumar has been passionate toastmaster. He is a global keynote speaker and a corporate trainer. He has won several speech awards during his toastmaster journey, and he does a marvelous job of engaging larger audience, larger to even the tune of 1,000 or even more. He likes to offer a challenge to your way of thinking and offer a bold perspective. I'm sure we will be happy to know his perspective today for Crossroads of Life. He is also a visual storyteller and an effective speaking coach, which means if you are a trainer, speaker, or a coach, and you want to speak effectively with your clients, with your coaches, you know where to reach. He also works with CXOs and business leaders to deliver their speech effectively because communication is a key to motivate and improve productivity and performance within the team. And he combines all this using the art of storytelling. So let me welcome Kumar Achanta.
Hello. Hey,
Hi,
Sagar.
Kumar. Welcome.
Thanks for having me here.
Okay, before we start, let me share one more thing. So everyone who has joined us, this is like a mini marathon, a mini summit. Starting today till 8th of May, we are going to have four speakers, starting with Kumar Achunta, then Lokesh, then Shweta, and Tulsi, sharing their life journey at the crossroads. So if you have missed it, check on my LinkedIn profile or YouTube or LinkedIn and register now. It's for free. Yes, Kumar, over to you. Please share something about yourself.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks, Sagar. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kumar Achanta, and born and raised in the city of Hyderabad. Yes, and yeah, I speak Telugu. My mother tongue is Telugu, and worked for 15 plus years for various corporates. And there would be a time in your life where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's when that's where the crossroads that Sagar would be talking about, right? So I was at that crossroads and had to take some decisions. uh, and worked for 15 years, quit in 2015. And since then, I have been coaching people on effective speaking, storytelling, because as Sagar was already mentioning, communication is the key. You communicate with not only during sales, but you communicate with your family members. You have to convey an idea to your family member, or it could be your business partner, it could be your colleague, it could be anybody. Communication is the crucial aspect. And listen to this very carefully. Communication was, is, and will remain the most important skill of any century, right? So, yes, Sagar.
So, Kumar, while you were talking about communication, how important is listening?
Wow, fantastic. In fact, to be a good communicator, you have to be a good listener. That's a tricky thing, right? So yes, these days where you have so many things in your mind and the gadgets that you carry, that it is always you are in hurry to actually share what's in your mind rather than listening to the opposite person. Let me tell you, if you actually start listening to others, people will start trusting you more. When they trust you more, then they will listen to you. When they listen to you, they act on what you said. When they act on what you said, that's when they get results. So, Sagar, very good point on listening. Yes, to be a good speaker, good communicator, or a storyteller, you have to be a good listener as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That, my friends, is the golden nugget. If you want to be a good leader, if you want to communicate effectively, and if you want your people to follow you, listen to them.
Absolutely.
Give
And
them your words.
yeah.
Yeah, go on, Kumar.
And I want to ask audience a question. Probably they might want to type in the chat box or wherever you are watching, Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn. What is that you want in life? Can you please type in the chat box? What is that you're actually seeking in life? Type in your chat box. Somebody might want wealth. Somebody might want health. Looking at the current situation, probably people's mind has shifted from money to health these days.
Absolutely.
Sad that we are in a very pathetic situation, at least across the world, and so I think health is very important for people. So just type in what is that you really want. So if you want me to share, let me share. At the end of the day, whatever you are, if you're a company CEO or a vice president marketing, whatever you do, whether you're a storyteller, speaker, trainer, coach, whichever profession you're in, type yes in the chat box if you agree to this, okay? You want to be happy. Am I right? Do you want to be happy? Type yes in the chat box. Type happiness in the chat box or happy in the chat box. We all want to be happy, isn't it? That's the end goal. The reason that we're making money, the reason that we're going to work, working from home, whatever we are doing, we want to be happy. Now, listen to this amazing story, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine a guy climbing a huge mountain. Guy climbing a huge mountain. It's a very long journey, long trek. He's sweating, aching in his knees, ankles, and he's carrying a very big flag. A nice big flag. And can't wait to put at the top of the mountain. He's in pain. Now, a friend comes a friend comes by in a helicopter, right? And he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" He says, "I'm climbing this mountain." Then his friend asks, "But what's your goal?" "I want to yonder the top of the mountain. I want to get to the top of the mountain." That's what this gentleman says. And he asks, "How long have you been climbing?" I've been climbing for days now." You look in pain. Come on, get in the helicopter. I can take you up in just 3 minutes. Just what would he do at that time? The person who was climbing the mountain. You see, the mistake people make is they think top of the mountain is the goal. They think top of the mountain is the goal, and the climbing on the mountain is the means, right? But that's not true, ladies and gentlemen. The goal is the climb. Top of the mountain is the means. How's that? Your climb itself is your goal, and the mountain is the means. Let's say, for example, now If you did not have the top of the mountain, then you wouldn't climb at all, right? There will be no climb. So no journey, no adventure, no fun, no sweat, nothing, no pain. Mistake people make is they think there is some moment in future that they will be happy, right? They're waiting for that happiness moment, right? We are not human beings. I have shared this earlier many times. We are not human beings, you'll be surprised. We are human becomings, right? We like to become, we like to anticipate, we like to grow, we love adventure, we like the new, we like the new. That's what we are good at. So we impatiently get to the moment that we think will deliver the happiness, but it doesn't, ladies and gentlemen. So the story, the conclusion is the way to happiness is to be happy on the way. Love the journey, ladies and gentlemen. Love the journey. The climb is your goal, and the mountain is your means. Don't confuse between these two. Hope you like the story. Over to you, Sagar. Right? So we can't hear you, Sagar. Somehow,
Oh, I'm so
yeah.
sorry. I'm saying while you were saying such a wonderful story, and I did captured the golden nugget that you said that love the journey. The journey is more important. And
Correct.
while you were saying that, people were sharing your answer. There were yeses flooded in my chat box, and I'm just trying to share them here. Ganesh, Naveen, Tulsi, Mr. KB Gupta, Deepak Amlani, Lavanya. People are like flooding the chat box right now. So kudos to you and bringing us such a wonderful insight. So
Absolutely.
now, a very important question: what does crossroad mean to you? You talked about happiness, you talked about the journey, but I'm sure at some point of time you would have been in a situation which wouldn't have been happy, which would have been overwhelming, crushing, because you are at the crossroads where you had to take that decision of your life. So, what does crossroad mean to you?
That's a very good question, Sagar. And before I give you a direct answer on what does crossroads means to me, let me give you a little background of me and my family. Born and raised in a nuclear Telugu Brahmin family. I have to tell this because there's a perspective. There's a notion about some religions, some castes, some families, right? So typically born and raised in a Telugu Brahmin family, and I have a younger sister. My father used to work for a company called Indian Airlines then. Now it's Air India. Okay, and yes, I had dreams like any child had. Go and ask any child, what do you want to become? He might tell you, I want to become scientist, or I want to become a doctor, or I want to become an engineer, or whatever. Probably these days we have many more professions, right? You can become a DJ too. So yes, I wanted to become a commercial aircraft pilot because my father was working for Indian Airlines, and I'm so lucky that if you know, even the prime minister of the country is not allowed in the cockpit of the pilot when he is actually flying. But I got to sit between the pilots and watch how they fly many times, several times in my life. And it was an amazing experience, Sagar, and I always wanted to be a commercial pilot. So after my graduation, what happened is my father retired from his job, and we had difficulties, and actually financial difficulties started, and my father couldn't pay for my further education. And it's not only that, I got to know that not only education or engineering, electronics and all that, but you got to have a lot of money to become a commercial pilot. Isn't it? So, which my father definitely did not have, and I had a younger sister who was still in her intermediate, and she has to complete her graduation and further studies. So, yeah, that was one of the, I would say, I don't say crossroads, but yes, I had to give up because of financial difficulties. And like everybody wanted, I also wanted a job, got into a job, and before, when you introduced me, you said, I coach CEOs on storytelling, and I train major corporates and all. My first job was a sales boy in Shoppers Stop, a clothing store. I joined as a sales boy. Those sales boys who do cashiering, and who help you, who assist you in choosing your clothes, the size of the trouser or the shirt and all. That was my first job, right? And I worked there. I used to stand for 10 hours, and probably just 1 hour break in between. Yes, it was hard. The challenge here was, I was living a good, decent life because my father had a job and all. And suddenly, the standard of living got reduced. Getting up a point, it's not that I lived in poverty. By God's grace, I had everything what I wanted in my life. But at the same time, there was this moment when the standard of living has gone absolutely down, and we had to really save every single rupee to move forward, because I had no job when my father retired. Imagine a situation where a family has no income, right? And I had to somehow find a job and just do something. So that's how life started. And yes, 15 years passed by in various companies. And what does crossroads mean to me? Friends, there would be a time in your life where you are not enjoying your work anymore, or you want to do something really different. It takes a lot of courage, at the same time talent and skills, to plunge into what you believe is right. And I happened to join an organization called Toastmasters International, which helps people learn public speaking. So I was into corporate club, and somehow I was actually shivering into, you should actually see my first talk. I was shivering, I was sweating. I had no words, I had dry mouth. Remember, it happens in public speaking, your mouth goes dry and you don't get anything to speak. That's how the life started in Toastmasters. When I kept doing it consistently, the thing was, I was enjoying it. It's not because of the appreciations or the applause which I was getting, but I was really enjoying the process of right from choosing a topic to writing your own speech and delivering it in front of public. That's absolutely important. And being open for the feedback, right? So that's how it began. And in 2015, the crossroads was, guys, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, as I already told you. And I had to take this decision of either being in that amazing job, which was actually running my kitchen, food on the table, all EMIs getting paid, everything was fine, amazing. But I said, somehow I was not happy with what I was doing. And I know that I was capable of doing something much more interesting for me, right? And so what I did is, I had to take this decision, and I had quit in 2015. That was the major crossroads of my life. My family was not supporting. My family said, "This is an amazing job. How could you do this?" You know. But friends, believe me, sometimes most of the time in life, when you're at the crossroads, when you have to take that major decision, don't just check the waters. When you have to get into the swimming pool, don't put your feet and check, oh, is the water warm or cold, or okay, let me just put my feet in it. Just jump. Just jump. That's what exactly I did. But yes, you have to be very calculative while taking those decisions based on your circumstances. My circumstances made me to took a plunge. I just jumped into it, where I just quit the organization and I started associating with various training organizations and started corporate trainings. So I have actually, this helped me refine my craft. If you have to be good at something, you have to keep doing it. You have to keep getting that stage time to really practice it and prove it that you are really good at it. So yes, Sagar, that was the crossroads of my life, where I had to take decision in 2015, and I am very happy that I have taken this decision. Yes, there were failures, there were disappointments, right? There were disappointments, And there were people who cheated me. I mean, people who lied. That's fine. I think this is a part of the process, Sagar. And I really enjoyed my journey last 5 years. And we know what's really happening in the world from 2020, right? Uh, I think I personally believe that everybody is at the crossroads at this moment. Everybody. I'm hearing such a bad news from everywhere across. May God give us a lot of strength to those families who are losing people. Imagine, Sagar, we just talked about the crossroads where I had to quit the job, but imagine a person, an earning member of the family, a breadwinner, passing away due to this thing. So
So, Kumar,
that,
sorry to interrupt here.
yep,
Uh, this is a valid point, and normally I do it at the end. So now that you have put this point up, we can actually request everyone, all listeners, as I do it always, please do a collective prayer with your
yep,
family and whenever you are together, and just let that positive energy go to the universe and let us fill the universe with that positive vibe. So thank you, Kumar. Normally we do it at the end, but now you were touching such a sensitive point, so I thought I should interrupt and do this. So please carry on.
yep, yep. All right. So yes, as I said, that was the crossroad, the most difficult moment. There were many crossroads in my life, Sagar. I'm sure it will be in many people's life, but yes, this is one of the major and most significant crossroads where I had to really take this decision of quitting a well-paid job and getting into what I really love. And let me tell
Yeah,
you, I was totally broke. I had no money, and that's how I have built. So till the time you are in the corporate, I'm not blaming any corporate or any jobs here, but understand this: there is a lot of difference between an employer and an entrepreneur. Do you agree, Sagar? Do you agree? There is a lot of
absolutely.
difference. The mindset is different. The behaviors are different. The habits are different. So I had to change all these things. I had to change all these things. And because, and ladies and gentlemen, remember this very important and significant point. Your goal is not important. Your goal, now you must be like surprised. What the hell Kumar is saying? He's saying, Kumar, goal is not important. Your goal is not important as what you have to become to achieve that goal. So focus on becoming than achieving that goal, right? Because you have to totally become a different person to achieve that goal. Yeah, that is more important. That gives you a lot of faith, and that's what the story is all about, right? Enjoying the journey, enjoying the process, enjoying the pain, sweat, blood, everything, and that's how you find that happiness.
Lovely, Kumar. Thank you very much. And for people who would like to know what Kumar said, we could summarize in a very few words, or in rather than just three words. It's basically, you need to be aware about what your situation is. You need to be aware about your strength. You need to be aware about what you want to become, what you want to achieve, what are your goals, or what is your final destination. You need to be aware about who are your friends, who are your supports, who are your enemies, what are your pitfalls. You also need to be aware about what will happen if you don't achieve that goal, what will happen if you fail, or you need to be aware of what is the most bad point in case if you don't achieve that goal. Because once you're aware about everything, you're aware about the positives, you're aware about the negative, is when you can make that decision. Now once you're aware, take the second step of investing wherever you know that you are weak, wherever you know that that is not your strength. Invest in that area if that is your goal. In case if you want to work on your strength, fair enough, invest in your strength, invest in the sales and marketing of yourself or your strength, or improvising your strength. But all this, you need to top it up with the right mindset, and that's exactly the mindset that is: take action, be positive, have gratitude. So, Kumar, thank you very much for sharing this with us. And it was really, a wholesome answer of what you said as what does crossroad mean to you? And taking clues from that, I want to ask, as a matter of our, the show or the flow of the conversation that we have, tell us one story, one phase, one incident in your life about your crossroad. I'm sure you've shared a few nuggets here and there about the decision that you want to take, had to take in 2015. If that is the story, fair enough. If you want to share something else, please feel free to do so.
Yeah, that's one of the stories. As I said, Sagar was the most significant one, and the other thing which I want to share is probably it's not a story, probably not just an incident on so many things. Uh, when I was a child, I had various cousins, boys and girls who were really studying well. I was basically average and below average, right? So, this is what happens. When you're a child, you're actually conditioned. Now, do you know that every child is conditioned by the age of 7 years? So, when I say conditioning, what do you tell that? What do you tell about whether it is relationships, money, or abilities? The child is going to believe it, and that's exactly what happened with me. Uh, glad that the kind of things are not around anymore, and I see a lot of young entrepreneurs coming up, building companies and so many things. They're doing a great job. I wish all of them very good luck and all the very best. But in my case, and probably somebody who is listening, they said, Kumar, you're not good enough. You're not good at maths. Why are you not doing engineering? Why just graduation? And can't you study like your cousin? These were the so many kind of words and sentences which got into my mind that I stopped believing myself, Sagar. I stopped believing myself, and I just went with the flow. Probably just finding a job, finding an earning, doing something, and today whatever I'm doing, I'm surprised with myself. Saying that I'm a visual storyteller. World HRD Congress has invited me to Mumbai to speak in front of 2,000 people from 40 countries. Uh, right? Remember that boy who was shivering, standing in front of people, right? World HRD Congress and various corporates, guys. So yes, the other crossroads says you might have been conditioned. You don't know how much strength, abilities, and skills that you have today. Believe me, you will only get those abilities and skills once you're out of your comfort zone. Once you're out of your comfort zone. So don't be comfortable with things. Keep growing. We are human becomings, not human beings. This is one of the crossroads, Saga, where I had to change that belief system. It's not easy. Let me tell you, it's not easy. When somebody, do you think money grows on trees? That's what my father used to tell me. I mean, what happens with the child? He or she thinks that earning money is goddamn difficult. You have to work hard for money. I'm sure most of you might have heard, right? So if really hard work gives you a lot of money, I'm sure that rickshaw wala or auto wala should have been a millionaire, right? So yes, there's so many beliefs that got in here since the childhood, and I had to change the belief system, with the help of amazing friends, coaches, and of course, confidence in ourselves. That's very important. You're on mute, Saga. You're on mute.
Sorry, I kept on mute so that the disturbance is not there. So what I wanted to, say that whatever you said, and as you said, self-confidence is important. Those are the three elements: self-confidence, self-motivation, and gratitude, which are the key elements which help you to sail through the journey of your crossroad. Because when you're at the crossroads, demotivation, depression is a part of it. Because you're taking decision, you have to take that ownership. You can't get motivation from outside. You have to motivate your own self. Self confidence leads to self mastery. Self confidence leads to action, and self confidence also leads to collaboration, because people will sense that self confidence in you and will be ready to collaborate and support you. But there's a very thin line between self confidence and arrogancy or ego. So, yes, it's very important to be self confident, but at the same time, balance it with gratitude. And once you balance it with gratitude, you will never have ego. So, well said, Kumar. And, it was really nice to know that. So, now coming on to the next point, of course, you shared the learnings and you shared your story. Now is the time for me to pick up a question and ask you, what is your favorite chapter from the book at the crossroads of life?
Oh, fantastic. I mean, I just love this book, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever is watching, Sagar Amlani is the productivity explorer, and he has been doing these amazing talks, inviting people. And I'm happy to receive his book, The Crossroads of Life, a signed copy with him. And the best part is, I was actually at his launch of this book, along with him and his family. So, this is an amazing book written with. He was brutally honest, in each and every chapter. People tell you, right, he has done this, he has done this. Read this book. A normal person like Sagar, who grew up in slums in Mumbai, right? And whatever he is today, he has put in some amazing golden nuggets as chapters. And at the end of the chapter, he has mentioned treasure hunt, a treasure chest. No, a treasure chest is nothing but what we can learn from his stories. So basically, it's a story of a person, a journey of a person who has actually faced many challenges, disappointments, losses in his own life, and how he has actually overcome all these things. Right? And Sagar, yeah, I see your next question, but do you want to ask? You're on mute again.
The question is for you, but I think there's one more question in the comment which says we need an example for that gratitude balancing. So I will take this thing and answer it. So Lavanya, when I wanted to share that, when you're self-confidence and when people are helping you, most of the time when we are in problem and when we are having issues, we are very humble most of the time and we keep thanking people. But as soon as we grow on the corporate ladder, as soon as we go on that entrepreneur journey and we become big, we start forgetting the roots from where we came. And that is where the gratitude is missing. So gratitude is not only about thanking people. For example, when I started LinkedIn Local in 2018 with Mansi, we started getting some ticketing, some money from it. Now, I knew that education was very important for me because education was the one key thing which made me cross my life's journey till here. So, what we did as a part of gratitude, we started collecting funds and started giving it to an orphanage, ensuring that it's not the money that was delivered, but the books, the food, and we ourselves started giving time on every Sunday, reading out stories to the kids, spending time with the kids, to the fact that my kids never celebrated their birthday because we always celebrated them at the orphanage. So we never had those plush parties, spending money here and there. But we made food at home, carried the food, the cake, the chocolates, and enjoyed our birthday with those kids. That is something which I call as gratitude balancing. Is about you giving back to the society, and I'm sure that answers your question, Lavanya. So going back to you, yeah, you were talking about your favorite chapter from the book and you wanted to answer that question. Kumar, over to you.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, each chapter, The Crossroads of Life, is I would say platinum nugget, right? Not golden nugget, but a platinum nugget, right? And my favorite chapter is the chapter number 7, The Game of Guilt. In the game of guilt, Sagar has mentioned how he has actually, has lied with somebody to just have a cycle ride to the school, and how he has borrowed a cycle, lying, and it's a beautiful story. You have to read it, right? So let me share the treasure chest out of this chapter, which I personally liked because I remember those days, and I'm sure each one of you remember those days when we actually bothered our father or mother to buy this. But no, I want this. Why don't you buy me? And we never understood their financial condition. We never understood that. We never understood how much money my father had in his pocket, so that he can buy me that bicycle or buy me that shirt or whatever that I'm asking for, right? So the favorite chapter is the game of guilt, and the lesson that Sagar, and in fact even I have learned, is it is extremely easy as a young person to get influenced and put pressure on our parents to fulfill our demands. Understanding the difference between need and want. What an amazing concept. Need and want becomes critical. A need is something that is essential for us to survive, everything else is want. So just make a list if you want something, whether it is a want or a need, right? So if it is a want, just ignore it. Second point, we must value the things, big or small, right? We have, because everything is important in its own way, whether it's because the big or small. Very well written, Sagar. I loved it. And the third point is happiness achieved through a lie is a momentary, right? It is important for us to understand that we take the support of a lie, we are putting ourselves, our brand, and the trust of our loved ones at risk. It may backfire on us. Absolutely. Like, nobody likes liars, isn't it? And nobody likes false promises that people make. And the fourth and last point, our values are invisible yet priceless assets. Yeah, absolutely an amazing treasure chest. And the quotable quote, which is written as, trust your children or employees, it will make it possible for them to be dishonest. Make it impossible for them to be dishonest. So, wonderful chapter, Sagar. This is the chapter which I like, the game of guilt. Over to you.
Lovely, Kumar. Thanks a lot. And yep, that was one good thing. And I still remember the heat which I felt for the lie that I said. And, it was a roller coaster ride coming all the way from school back to home. And, the nervousness when you're actually lying and doing. So, just for a question to all the listeners, have you ever lied in your life? If yes, what did you feel while you were lying, and were you caught? Yeah. So, Kumar, as we come to the end of the session, I would love to have your parting comments, your last words or last statements for the show, for the listeners, some golden nuggets.
Yes, Sagar. So I would like to share with the audience that don't be afraid of failures. Never ever, never ever be afraid of failures. Failure is the path to success. And ladies and gentlemen, we see so many people, right, successful people, and we talk about them and all. Let me tell you, they have failed enough number of times that you and I even tried, right? So just don't be afraid of failures. Failures is not the opposite of success, it is the part of success. That's the first point, right? Never ever be scared of failures. Second one is the most important point, and I usually tell in my talks. And my question to you is, what kind of people are you hanging around with? Because be careful, you're going to become like them. And as Jim Rohn beautifully said, that you're the average of five people that you hang out with, isn't it? Right? Because you start behaving like them, you start walking like them, you start talking like them, you start every goddamn habit exactly like them. So be very careful in choosing people that you're spending your time with. It's extremely important. Extremely important. Most people don't understand this. Most people don't understand this. They just spend time, they just go out, have fun and parties, but that's going to have a lot of impact in your beliefs, in your system, in your habits, and so many other things. So watch whom you're spending your time with. And the third point, be willing to change. Change is the only thing which is constant. Now, let's look at last 2 years. I don't want to bring this up, but yes, let's talk about last 2 years. So many changes, isn't it? The right from the way we work, in front of cameras, sitting at home. Children are actually studying from smartphones. It is necessary part of life. You got to understand that it is a necessary part of life. Be willing to surrender. Be willing to surrender, because let me tell you, what you are for what you could become. Surrender what you are for what you could become, right? Focus on becoming. So these are my three most important takeaways that I want to leave today. And one bonus point today for the people who are watching. Last 2 years, we have seen so much happening across the world. My sincere request to each and everyone who's watching is, please, please, please take care of your health, because your body is the only place that you have to live. You can't live anywhere else. Please, please don't abuse your body, your organs, your mind. There's so much happening. Please start focusing on your health. Do something for your health, because it's you, your family. You have a lot to achieve in life. So that's my last tip, Sagar. These are some takeaways.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Awesome takeaways and very, very powerful takeaways. So, if you are listening to this and if you have gained even one golden nugget from what Kumar shared with us, share this with your friends. Let them know about this session. Let us spread the word. And if you have taken even one point from this, that is about health, and you have to take care of your health, in that case, type a yes and say what change are you going to make in your health routine from today. Why am I asking you to put that in the chat? Not for the show to get more comments, but I believe when we write things, our fingers sense it, our eyes read it, and our mind recognizes it. And secondly, when you put it out on a social media platform, you are telling the universe, I'm going to do this. And universe will bless you to achieve that. So with that, please remember collective prayers every day evening. Send it out to everyone who is wanting for them. And thank you for joining us. Also remember, I'm trying to bring that thing up. We have four people sharing with us. It's like a mini marathon, mini summit that is coming up today, tomorrow, day after, and the next, which is 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th May. Join us every day at the same link that you saw today. You can check out on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you, Kumar, for sharing such wonderful insights.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Sagar. Thank you.